Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. This is Matthew 5:7, the Beatitude that we're looking at today. Here, Jesus teaches us that the way that he has loved us ought to be reflected in the way that we love others. Because when we comprehend the mercy that God has shown us, we will want to show mercy to other people as well. Why? Because we are humbled by our spiritual poverty, because we are mourning for the spiritual depravity of our world. And this leads to a gentleness and a softness and a hunger and thirst for the righteousness of God. In turn, we ought to show mercy to the people around us. As Spurgeon writes, he says, "They will never know Christ and they will never rise to be practically merciful themselves till first they have seen their own true condition and have obtained mercy enough to lie down at the foot of the cross and there, with a broken heart, to confess that they are empty and poor." It's a mercy that only the Spirit of God can teach and work in us. And it starts with an acute awareness of our spiritual bankruptcy. So stop there and ask yourself, have I forgotten the mercy that God has shown me? Do my actions reflect a gratitude for God's mercy or a sense of self-entitlement? What is mercy? Mercy embraces the forgiveness for the guilty and compassion for suffering and poverty around us. Carson writes that mercy is a loving response prompted by the misery and helplessness of the one on whom the love is to be showered. So it's the idea of showing pity towards someone else. So we must, in showing mercy, we must realize that people are poor and broken, and we need to love them sacrificially regardless. Because the life of the disciple is one that leads to mercy and not judgment. So what does it look like to be a disciple that is merciful? Jesus describes this when he's talking about how he has come to be a doctor to the sick, because it's the sick that need the doctor, not the healthy. In Matthew chapter 9, he says, "I desire mercy and not sacrifice." And this here is a direct quote of Hosea 6:6. Hosea was an Old Testament prophet who was sent by God to tell the nation of Israel that their heartless sacrifices, their mechanical, rigid system of religion was not what God was after. He was after soft hearts that were after their Lord and their Lord of Israel, Yahweh. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that mercy is at odds with rigid legalism and empty religion. And this same idea again is evident in the parable of the Good Samaritan later in Matthew. Jesus says, "Go and show mercy like the Samaritan, not like the priest and Levite." So here we are to steer away from a mechanical application of rules and religion and seek to love others with a softness in the same way that Jesus has mercy on us. And this is not a theology of works. In showing mercy, we do not earn mercy, because that goes against the very essence of what mercy is. It is being spared from something that you deserve. So when we show mercy, it's evidence of our trust in God for his mercy towards us. Because when people wrong us, there's a great temptation to get even and to see things the way that we see them fit. But in doing that, we miss this great command to love God and to love others. Because God has treated us not as our sins deserve, but he has given us new life and forgiveness. And so it's from that place that we operate with mercy. So we are to mirror what God is like to us, to others. And when we do this, we understand in a really tiny, small way what God's mercy towards us is like. Let's think this morning about our hearts and our attitudes towards other people, whether they are motivated out of a great appreciation and gratitude for God's mercy towards us. Ask yourself, am I compassionate to the fallen and the broken around me? Do I have a soft heart for those who are downtrodden and suffering? Because a disciple who loves Jesus and understands his love for us will reflect it in the way that they show mercy.